This video is sponsored by AG1.
Who's got an egg for me?
Oh, there is one. Bye guys, thanks for the egg. What's up guys? Salut, this is Alex. I've recently stumbled upon an article that I found fascinating, and I want to share it with you. It's a New York Times article written by chef, author and YouTuber Kenji Lopez alt. Extra creamy scrambled eggs. You got my attention already. Adding a small amount of a starchy slurry to scrambled eggs. A slurry, by the way, is a mixture of liquid and flour, in this case water and cornstarch. Prevents them from setting up too firmly, resulting in eggs that stay tender and moist, whether you like them soft, medium or hard scrambled. That is one hell of a promise. It's almost like too good to be true, to be honest. And that is because there is a universal problem when it comes to cooking eggs. You see, part of the population is okay with undercooked eggs. They could probably drink raw eggs for breakfast and get away with it.
Well, we deserve it. We've been getting away with murder for the last couple of weeks.
And that is great because undercooked eggs always are tender and moist. But another part of the population is not okay with undercooked eggs. I don't know if it's the exciting possibility of food poisoning or perhaps the lovely snotty texture of raw egg whites. But either way, for these guys, eating undercooked eggs is borderline criminal, and the only way to cook eggs properly for them is all the way through. Fully cooked. And that is absolutely fine, unless of course, you want your eggs to be moist and tender. That's exactly where the problem is. Fully cooked eggs are always dry. And yet, according to this article, that doesn't have to be the case. It's hard to wrap my head around this. So I had to give it a try. So I made 2 batches of scrambled eggs, one with a slurry, one without, both cooked all the way through, obviously, and then I tasted them. And indeed, the slurry version was a little more moist and tender, but then something happened. Something that can only be qualified as a light bulb moment. This is a more enjoyable experience. In terms of color, I'm not a big fan of pale yellow unless I'm making a French classic omelette. A French classic omelette. A French classic omelette. A French classic omelette.
Hi Alex, I'm Jacques Pepin. And I saw you making omelettes.
I shouldn't be making scrambled eggs with this technique. I should be making an omelette. I'm the omelette guy. I love omelettes. This channel is basically the omelette channel. And the more you know, one of the markers of a well-made classic French omelette is to have it creamy and moist. Which is pretty easy to do for me because I'm in the part of the population that is okay with undercooked eggs. I'm not saying I love them, I just put up with them because I can't stand dry eggs or dry omelette. So with that in mind, I usually go for runny omelettes, or as Jacques Pepin would say,
some people like it called baveuse.
Baveuse.
A drooling omelette.
But also, what about you guys? What about the part of my audience that is completely not okay with undercooked eggs? In all honesty, a drooling omelette is not appealing to me per se. It's just that I have no choice. It's the only way for me to get my omelette creamy and tender. I mean, I thought it was the only way. If this technique works, it could potentially solve one of my existential dilemma. Right, so let's start a little experiment. So I'm gonna apply the slurry technique to the almighty omelette. Now, keep in mind that even though I'm making an omelette and not scrambled eggs, I'm still following Kenji's New York Times recipe. It's good to see that at least I still got it. Let's not wait too long. Obviously, if the omelette is good, you don't need a knife, huh? Otherwise, this was a steak. Alright, and now a few words about our sponsor, AG1. For the past year or so, I've been drinking on an empty stomach AG1 every morning. AG1 has no GMOs, no herbicides, no pesticides, no artificial colors, flavors, preservatives, or even sweeteners, and that is proper crazy, because it does taste very good. One scoop or one travel pack of AG1 plus 8 ounces of water every day. That's it. This effortless daily habit just helps me focus more and gets me important hard to find ingredients and a high level of antioxidant that supports my immunity. The boost in energy that I've been feeling is sustained throughout the day. It doesn't hit like a caffeine shot at all. At this moment, I'm under a lot of stress between the channel and the new studio, so AG1 is really helping me. If you want to give it a try, go to drinkag1.com/Alex to get started on your order. AG1 is going to give my community a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Thank you AG1 for sponsoring this video. Moist, juicy, almost no resistance to the teeth. I don't know, something's wrong. The omelette is good, sure, but I'm not fully satisfied. I'm not entirely sure why. It might just be me, but I'm wondering how much of this moisture is due to the slurry or to the amount of butter that we use in the omelette. You see, in this recipe, Kenji suggests to use butter in the pan, of course, but also in the actual egg mixture, which is not something I tend to do when making omelets. I mean, I understand to make it extra luxurious, you might want to do this. And also, of course, guys, I'm French, I love butter, but it's just too much. It makes the whole experiment and situation hard to evaluate. I love eggs in the morning. I don't see myself eating that recipe every morning with that amount of butter. I still want the omelette to be creamy, but I don't want to use that amount of butter in the mixture. If I can have my omelette not runny, still creamy, without the butter, I would be in. I don't want to point fingers, I may have missed something, so I'm gonna go back to the article. I'm gonna check it again and see if I can grab anything that I could be using. Let's do it. So earlier on I read that Kenji did not come up with that recipe, it came from another blog, but I didn't check the original blog. Mandy Lee of the food blog Ladies and Pups. Maybe I should just do that. Ah, I can already see that she's not using butter in the egg mixture. Plus, she's using potato starch instead of cornstarch. Better yet, she's using milk, that makes a lot of sense. Compared to water, I don't know, it clicks better. Just by adding a little mixture of milk and potato starch creates a creamy and custardy, wow, texture. It says right here, do not use cornstarch. It's basically doing everything that I did, but this time with milk and potato starch instead of water and cornstarch. I say we give it a test. Okay. Keep in mind that this time the slurry was made with milk and potato starch and not water and cornstarch. Way easier to fold this one. I definitely cooked it a little further, but that's probably for the best. Wish me luck, man. I definitely cooked this for twice as long as I would normally cook an omelette. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried. Is it gonna be moist or is it gonna be dry? Is it gonna be better than the New York Times recipe? And above all, is it gonna be worth it? Alright, I'm going in. Wish me luck. So what I'm seeing right here is something moist that is not runny. And usually my omelettes, I love them to be slightly undercooked. But when I cut them in half, there's always a little juice running out. This is not runny. Look at this. This is almost like a gel. I think this is the potato starch in action. It looks a bit like a custard. Wow. That is very surprising. I mean, this is amazing. It almost feels like a cheese omelette to some extent. It's moist, that's what it is. I would have bet 100% that this omelette would be dry in the center. Seeing the impact of a little milk and a smidgen of potato starch, not to change the flavor, but just to change the texture, this is pretty magical. The ingredient combo improves the omelette without changing its nature, its essence. And that is what I was really worried about. This omelette is cooked all the way through, and yet it is very creamy. There is definitely an achievement over here. So in the end, I think this is an amazing technique. It's because this is a game changer for me. I'm thinking next time I'm making an omelette for myself, I'll definitely use this trick. It's simple, it's effective. This is an omelette I would eat every day. We'll see us in the next one. Bye bye.